Have you ever looked closely at an airplane window and noticed a tiny hole near the bottom? It looks so small that most passengers never even notice it. But once you see it, you can't stop wondering why it's there. Is it a manufacturing mistake, a tiny crack, or could something so small actually protect hundreds of lives every single day? The truth is far more fascinating than most people imagine. Every commercial airplane flies at an altitude of around 35,000 feet. At that height, the outside air is incredibly thin and freezing cold, often dropping below -50 degrees Celsius. Without a pressurized cabin, humans wouldn't be able to breathe for more than a few moments. That's why modern aircraft create an artificial environment inside the cabin, making passengers feel almost like they're still on the ground. But creating that comfortable environment also creates an enormous challenge. Inside the cabin, the air pressure is much higher than it is outside the aircraft. Every second of the flight, the windows are constantly being pushed outward by this pressure difference. Imagine inflating a balloon over and over again, thousands of times. Eventually, weak points begin to appear. Airplane engineers had to solve this exact problem before commercial aviation could become as safe as it is today. That's where the tiny hole comes in. Surprisingly, it isn't a mistake at all. It's called a bleed hole, and it's one of the smartest engineering solutions hidden inside every passenger window. Airplane windows are not made from a single sheet of glass. Instead, they are built using multiple layers of strong acrylic material. Each layer has a different job, and the tiny hole helps those layers work together safely. The bleed hole carefully controls how air pressure is distributed between the different layers of the window. Instead of allowing all the pressure to build against the outermost layer, it redirects most of that force to the strongest structural layer. This dramatically reduces stress on the inner pane that passengers can touch, helping the entire window survive thousands of flights without damage. The tiny hole has another important purpose. During long flights, warm air inside the cabin naturally creates moisture. Without a way to release that trapped moisture, condensation could build up between the window layers, making it difficult for passengers to see outside. The bleed hole allows tiny amounts of air to circulate, preventing fog and keeping the window clear throughout the journey. Engineers don't simply hope these windows will survive. Before an aircraft ever carries passengers, every window goes through extreme testing. They are exposed to massive pressure differences, freezing temperatures, powerful impacts, and thousands of repeated stress cycles that simulate years of flying. Only after passing these demanding tests are they approved for commercial flights. Even though the tiny hole looks insignificant, removing it would completely change how the window handles pressure. The inner pane would experience much greater stress, increasing wear over time. It's a perfect reminder that in engineering, the smallest details often carry the biggest responsibilities. What appears simple on the surface is usually backed by decades of research, testing, and innovation. Next time you're sitting beside an airplane window, take a closer look. That tiny hole isn't a flaw. It's quietly working throughout the entire flight, balancing pressure, preventing condensation, and helping protect everyone on board. Most passengers will never notice it, yet it performs one of the most important safety jobs in the cabin without making a sound. The next time you fly above the clouds, remember that aviation safety isn't built only on giant engines or powerful wings. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary design and an extraordinary one is hidden inside something no bigger than the tip of a pencil. One tiny hole, almost invisible to the eye, quietly reminds us that the greatest engineering achievements are often the ones we never notice at all.